The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Hey everyone, this is James from Cave Dweller Music. I am here with my co-host Brendan today. We are joined by the band Malsten, all the way from Sweden. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It is great to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to be here.
Anytime. For anyone who isn't familiar with you guys, do you want to just sort of introduce yourselves, what you do in the band, and just tell us a little bit about Malsten?
I can start here on the left. My name is Manne. I am the singer, and I play some keyboards and organs in the band.
Yeah, and my name is Stefan. I play the drums. Yep, that's what I do.
Andreas, I play bass and Taurus pedals.
And I'm Fredrik, and I play guitars.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you sort of classify the band's sound as? I mean, Brendan and I pick up a bunch of cool stuff, like range from Opeth to Tool, everything in between. What would you sort of say you are?
It's an interesting comparison. I mean, we, in the band, Fredrik is the biggest Tool fan that I know. So that's not surprising to get some sort of that influence. And at least both me and Manne really like Opeth.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't say we're not really a progressive band in that sense. We're more of a minimalistic band, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird thing to hear that you sort of pick up Tool and Opeth influences in one way, but
Understandable in another
in another way. You know?
Yeah.
So
for me, I felt like the comparison there was like for song structure and complexity, you know, as being as simple as the sounding as it may be, or
atmosphere too.
It's atmosphere too, yeah. And it's got like the ebbs and flows, and it has power, it has like emotion, it has all of that tied into it, and that's definitely everything I can think of about, like, you know, with a band like that. So it's not necessarily the progressive sound, but it's everything that encompasses with that.
Yeah,
I think you have some those crescendos too. Like you have that building of tension that releases in those sort of epic moments.
very flattering to hear that comparison. It's not something we consciously have thought about, I think, but I mean, and I personally, I don't know so much about Tool's music structure, but
It's much more complicated. But when you think about those bands you mentioned compared to us, I just feel like we are just very primitive.
Amateurs. They are really great musicians, and we're not on that level, really.
No,
but if we can fool you,
but I think we are pretty conscious about, like, if you talk about like the mood and modes of the songs, that we feel like now we sort of need an element to bring some better dynamic into the song. So even if it's not so complicated instrumentally, I think that we try to work with like the dynamics in the songs a lot.
Yeah, arrangement wise, we are quite picky. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the band itself. Like, how did you guys come together as a band?
It's those two guys, Andreas and Fredrik, who really that started the band a long time ago.
Yeah, all of us have played music when we were younger, and then stopped for various reasons, mostly like families and jobs, and life got in between music making. But me and Fredrik started talking about playing music again, maybe 2013,
something like that.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it for years, and then we met up and just talked about music and made riffs together.
Yeah.
Before the band came together as it is now. That was 2018 that we started with Malsten.
We had a couple of setups before this one, so to say. So,
yeah. So it was a long process.
Yeah. what I've heard, because you told the story a couple of times that you started up with a couple of guys and
throw them out.
Yeah, at some point it was just like, this is not going where I wanted it to go at all, and you just kicked the whole band, right?
Yes. But nope.
And except for Andreas. Then.
Yeah, because Andreas was on the kind of same level for what we wanted to say.
You know who's famous for that is Carlos Santana. I don't know if you've watched that documentary he did recently about his life. It's worth a watch. But he was saying that there's been like, I think it was like 73 different iterations of his band from the members he's kicked out. So when he's touring or recording, if someone's not achieving what he wants or like performing on the level he expects, he just removes them. But yeah, I mean, quality control is his whole thing, I guess. There's different approaches, I guess, to being a band. Some is like, oh, it's about the relationships and the friendship, and we're going to stick together. And some people are like, it's about the music completely. So whatever works for you, I guess.
Yeah. It's also I guess it's about being on pair, like mentally, like you get along with the other members.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And we had another drummer first, so Stefan came 20, I think it was. Yes.
Ooh, is it that long?
Yeah. You're old in the band.
2.5 years. Okay.
So the first drummer dropped off. Summer 2020, I think.
After the release of the first album.
Yeah.
But he left of his own position.
Yeah, of course. He had other priorities in his life. So that's
that's good. I mean, you can't fault him for that unless he's getting arrested.
But I think also that one crucial aspect is that we decided on doing this concept-based doom metal, or what you want to label it as. I guess it's not for everybody, to create in that sort of space, because it's a bit restrictive in a sense. So you have to keep with the concept idea. You can't just be 1, 2, 3, 4 punk. It has to be more serious than that. And if that takes away some of the joy from your music making, then it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That has to be made as well.
I definitely think so. You have to make music for yourself primarily before anyone else. If you're not enjoying it, then you shouldn't be making it.
Right.
You're going to be the one listening most to your own music. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It all comes up.
So you said you've been playing some shows recently. Where have you been playing live? Is that in Sweden?
Yes, it is. Yes. We had a release party thing this last Friday, which was really good in our hometown here in Malmö, and that was a good show.
Yeah.
What's the venue there?
The venue was called Inkomst. It's a smaller venue, but they specialize in arty things. Yeah. They have a lot of different things from theater avant-garde stuff. Yeah, mostly. But it's a good place. I mean, the sound was really nice, and everything connected to the show was fun. So it's good.
And came some people as well.
They've also noticed that nobody buys concert tickets on pre-sale anymore. Everybody just decides on the fly where to go or not, which is it's a pain for the promoters to sort of have. We've actually had a few shows cancelled because of that. A few years back, they haven't sold any pre-sale tickets because people decide on the fly. Okay, I'll go tonight.
And then it's too late because then it's already cancelled. Because the venues don't want to risk that.
You can't face a concert of 180 people saying that I'm interested on Facebook.
Yeah, you can't plan the party on that,
Yeah. I guess I'm old school because I buy mine ahead of time online.
I do that as well. But it's you have to convince people to you buy the ticket on forehand, because otherwise it won't be a concert.
Mm.
And if you can, you get your money back.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, it's tricky.
So it's not
Yeah,
only
people don't like plan that far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you said before that it's hard for bands now to get shows booked and tours, but it's also hard for the promoters, I think, in the situation today. It's hard to invest in putting shows up.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we had someone on the show, Brendan. Do you remember who it was that said that they were touring and when they used to do it in the past, they would just be like, "Hey, we're rolling into this town. Like, do any bands want to play with us?" Type thing, and bands would be like, "Yeah, just jump on," and they organize a gig. And now they just cannot do that anymore. Like, people just won't commit, won't like jump on. They can't find acts to open for them, especially on weeknights.
Yeah. I was oh man.
It wasn't Val. It wasn't from Val, was it?
No, it was the Black Throne guy.
Ryan.
Ryan's I can't remember the band on the same. They used to be able to just like, well, let's go, and now it's like it's really tough.
You need like 6 months. You need like a couple of months planning to break it now.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's planned. Sometimes even more than 6 months out. It's like it's especially a larger tour. It's got to be really hammered out, and places got to commit and get their stuff going.
Yeah, you probably heard the way Black Sabbath did to break, that they just packed a van with all the instruments and went to all the venues around Manchester just to see if the real band would show up. So if the band didn't show up, they just, we're ready to play. That's how they made it.
But it could be
that's awesome.
Can you imagine that? Like
nowadays,
like what if they didn't take the chance? Like, you know what I mean? Or they're just like, who knows?
But you look back at that later as a promoter or a booking agent for those clubs, and if you rejected them, it'd be like, what? Wrong side of history.
Yeah.
So, apart from your stuff, which we'll come back to in a minute, has there been anything you've been listening to so far this year that stood out to you? Any good new releases for any of you guys?
I think I've been just discovering old stuff that I didn't know about before, really.
That's cool. What have you discovered?
Yeah, now you're putting me on the spot. I'm looking at my phone because, like,
I always have to.
Like the old man that I am, my memory has gone to shit. If it was ever good, to be honest. Someone else can fill in while I try to figure out what I actually like.
Yeah.
Hard to say. I mean, new music coming out. I feel mostly that new music coming out, somebody tells you, you have to check out this band. And for me, it's about a 10% success rate, I would say. Because I would listen to the whole album and then say, well, maybe. So you get a bit pickier when you get older as well, I think. But, I think the Myrkur album was really good.
Yes, that was what I was looking for.
Right. So we're thinking the same. Yeah. That was good. It was more of a more pop oriented maybe than her previous releases, but I think it was really good anyway.
Oh yeah.
Really who did you say? Sorry, did you say Bjork?
No, Myrkur. They're a Danish artists. Really good.
Oh, okay.
Between sort of pop rock and black metal.
Yes,
cool.
With black metal influences.
Okay, let's spell it MYRKUR.
Oh, I know. I didn't know that's how you pronounce that. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, if we're into folk music, I think she has released one of the best folk music, Norse folk music albums that's out there, actually.
Wow, interesting. Also, everyone in the US just calls her Myrka.
Maybe that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not. So back jumping back to your side of things, before we were recording, you mentioned that the album art was painted by one of you guys, which I think is fantastic. It's very professional.
Okay, yeah. I painted it. It took some time because it is more than 2 meters wide and more than 1 meters high.
Wow!
So it's a big canvas, and I worked on it for quite a long time just to get. And I also listened to our album meanwhile to get the right feeling for it. So, and in the painting, I try to get as many aspects, as many things from the story as much as I could. So they're all in there, most of them.
It really reflects the album's aesthetic. I think you perfectly captured its essence.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah, it's like it has all the dynamics in there. You know, like the colors, the cooling, and like there's something going on behind there. You know.
Yeah. Great.
I don't know if any of you guys are horror fans, but it seems like something that would be in the background of like. Great. Yeah, I mean, massive one here too. It's like something. You know those like 80s horror movies, how all the rich guys in their apartments and penthouses have like a big painting behind the couch?
Yeah.
It looks like it could be one of those from the scene where he gets like murdered in front of it, and that's in the background behind the couch.
Yeah.
I want to place it somewhere in like the first original Evil Dead or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, but it's also some kind of humoristic touch to it as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I should have guessed that you were horror fans by the theme of the album, like the concept album. Who came up with that?
Well, I think we should.
The concept or the storyline was a collaborative effort for us. Mostly, we had the core of the idea, which was basically more about the placement in time and space of the story. We thought it would be great to have it in the beginning of the 20th century, clash between old and new, and then in a rural space, like in the countryside. And then with the name of Malsten came the mill theme as well. So, but then from the overarching storyline, then Manne did the lyrics based on that.
Yeah. So when I joined the band, I got like a skeleton of a story that Fredrik and Andreas had put together, and then they said a lot like there needs to be a lot of gore and like all these graphic things.
So it was a splatter to begin.
It sounded like it would have been a splatter in the beginning. And then, but it's interesting that you talk about horror stories, because when I sat down and started to write the lyrics, I was thinking that the most of the horror stories that affects me the most is when you leave more to the reader or the viewer to fill in the blanks.
Yes.
So,
the speculation.
Exactly. Less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I intentionally tried to left it very like subjective and not too on the nose that he's murdering or these horrible things happen. It's just insinuated more than it is told explicitly what's the horror.
Too little blood.
Yeah, I know. If you listen to them.
But this village exists. It's a real village.
Yeah.
It's not far from here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from any from that village yet.
And like, was the story sort of true, or the story's completely made up? Like, is it actually like a folk legend or anything that's like based on loosely, or?
It's made up. Yeah.
Okay.
So made up.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, it happened. No, it happened. Sorry.
It has elements of classic folkloristic themes like the Knicks and such. And also when we were sort of in a starting in a creative sense with the story, I also know I read some excerpts from an asylum in a town close to where we live from the same time period, and sort of read about all the life stories of the inmates there, and that was a good inspiration, I think, for how somebody can change and do horrible things. So in that sense, it has some sort of a grounding. It could have been true.
Yeah. and it's also a little bit, I think, influenced by a really, really good Swedish sort of crime horror TV series from, is it the 90s? Or
even 80s, maybe.
Yeah. It's called like Skånska mord or Scanian murders.
But based on stories.
Oh, that's based on true stories, yeah.
To check that out. Is it in Swedish completely? Or is it, I guess do you think there's an English dub I could find or something? Or
I don't know. I mean, everything is in Swedish, but there might be someone that like dubbed or put the subtitles to it, because it's
awesome.
It's an amazing work of horror art. The series.
We could check it out for you if you want.
Yeah,
because it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Subtitles is totally fine. I'm always happy with original language content with subtitles. I just need to find it.
Or you just learn Swedish.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
My Dutch is bad enough. I need to learn Swedish. Brendan, I've been asking a lot of questions. Let me kick it over to you for a bit.
Who inspired you to pick up an instrument, and what was your first instrument?
You can start because you're originally a guitarist, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
So that's.
I don't know. I mean, what inspired to pick up a guitar? I don't know. I mean, I saw. I think it was when I saw a lot of 80s metal things growing up, and the guitarist was always the coolest guy, smashing the guitar and throwing it around his head or something, or her head, I don't know. So that was maybe why I wanted to play guitar specifically. Also, you get to be the loudest in the band.
Not in this band.
And I only switched to bass because you didn't want to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say bass.
Yeah.
So no special person like Yngwie Malmsten or something.
Yngwie was a big inspiration for me growing up. Absolutely, because he was one of the coolest and also the most ridiculous at the same time. Which is, I mean, there's something that I really like about that. If you have whatever you do in art or music, or if you have an idea, go to the absolute max with that idea, and then you say, okay, I'm done with this now. Instead of sort of like, maybe I do it a bit half measure,
James, you said less is more, but his thing is more.
More is more.
More is more.
Do you want to follow up, Stefan?
Yeah, I can follow up. I started. I mean, I always had like I want to play drums. That was like the thing for me. Not when I was really young. Then I want to play guitar, but that didn't happen. And then the band started to play in my hometown, and they had a drummer, and she had to practice first. So it was just like they were just waiting for her to get ready. So I said, like, I start now. You can have me.
I don't have to practice.
I don't have to practice. I just go with. So I was listening. I was actually listening at that period of time. I was listening to old garage music, but mostly the Stooges and MC5 music like that. So that was my starting point, and punk rock as well.
Yeah, faster tempoed.
Yeah, a little bit faster. Yeah, then a little bit faster than today. Yeah.
When I was like 14, I should just play guitar and it should be punk and hardcore music. No discussion. I couldn't play at all. I played on one string and in the friend's garage, and we just made brilliant punk.
On one string.
It sounded really, really bad, but we had fun. So that's the way it is. I started building a wood guitar in the school first and played for my parents at the school, like miming to it and stuff like that. So guitar. So that's my question.
Yeah. I think I got interested in singing sometime in high school, and I think the first band that I really got into like that was Pearl Jam. That was the first band that I remember like singing along to, and I thought it was and also because of all the teenage angst and all that, and like depressing
everybody loved Eddie.
Yeah. And then actually sometime after that, because I love storytelling as well, I got a bit into musical theater. And then I was always very depressed because I'm a bass when it comes to vocal range. So I could never sing along to any musical theater songs. But I always wished that I could. So yeah, that's when it started for me. And now I can do it on my level with the storytelling in this band. So that's it all worked out.
Nice.
The one thing that I find funny about Yngwie Malmsteen is that in his earlier albums, he had his middle initial, J, on like the official title, because there are so many people with the name Yngwie Malmsteen, he didn't want to get confused by any of the other ones.
Okay.
So he felt that was necessary. It's like, I have to put my one in it or I get confused with all the other guys with the same name.
To be honest, I would guess also that then his his name looks more like a classical composer as well, then with dots and.
Oh, true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
The fun thing about Yngwie Malmsteen as well is that for a long while, if you try to Google us, like Malsten, Malmsteen, that would always come up as a suggestion, or even like.
Did you mean Malmsteen?
Yeah, did you mean Malmsteen? But he says, no, we actually exist. We are a real band.
That's awesome. So what is your favorite song to play?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Your favorite song to play?
Oh,
what's that?
Your favorite song to play?
It alters actually for me. Sometimes it's just like the latest news, like this one works the best now, and no, I think it differs. I don't have a total favorite.
Yeah,
depends. It would be. Sometimes it's the easiest song that is most fun to play because then you can focus on. I mean, if you're performing it live, you can focus on other stuff. That's always good. So for me, it would be Larum maybe from our latest album, because it's very easy from my side. I don't do much in that song. So it depends.
For the moment, I think it's Laurenti Birth for me because I like the crescendo in that song. It's really nice to play live. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. It's also an easy song. It's only 2 chords.
Yeah. But it's that is the same for me. Also because of the crescendo part, because
it's really
it really you can squeeze out everything from your balls you can act out a little bit on stage as well, which is always fun. What about you? What did you say?
I didn't pick one because I can't pick one because it differs.
I have a question for you guys. I mean, I know I'm not sure if any of you guys are into death metal at all, but is there like within Sweden, is there two camps of like what Swedish death metal means, whether it's like the 90s, early 90s, like Entomb type stuff, or Gothenburg style?
Yeah, it used to be. I mean, it used to be the difference between Gothenburg and Stockholm, of course. But I don't know if that really is so relevant anymore.
Not today, I think.
I mean, the newer death metal bands from Sweden, it's really a mix of the two. It's both the rock and roll side and the melodic side, so it's a mix. And also, the bands that are still active, like At the Gates, they have so much since the first albums. I mean, Slaughter of the Soul is still one of the best Swedish death metal albums, but the later is more. It's slower and it has more maybe substance in terms of lyrical content and everything. So,
right.
So both the bands have changed, and also new bands coming out. They don't really have, it's not this big difference between the Stockholm sound and the Gothenburg sound.
But the thing with the sound difference is mostly chance. It just happened because this is the gear we use here. Use it. We don't have anything else. You use that.
Right.
Of course, you get a certain sound if you use that pedal without everything on max. That's how you get a sound. And I mean, they had cheap stuff, and that cheap stuff made a sound that it's really iconic today.
It is, and it's also a very hard. Guitar-wise, it's a very hard sound to master. I know I tried doing the Swedish chainsaw sound with the heavy metal pedal maxed out. It's really difficult to play.
Yeah,
it is. It's easier on bass though. I did the same on bass a few times, and it's easier. So maybe we should incorporate that. More death metal.
Next album.
Yeah.
Slow.
Slow dismember. As chainsaw starting up, maybe.
I'll kick it back to you, Brandon.
That's funny. Well, I was going to say, what is your favorite venue to play in Sweden?
Well, that's a hard question because we don't have a lot of gigs, really.
No.
So in our hometown, Malmö, we have Plan B, which is a really good venue, and Plan B. And the venue we played last Friday, in Konst.
Yeah, that was actually really well suited, I think, to.
Yeah.
But we are rookies when it comes to gigs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot to compare with, really.
I think for us, I mean, what works is the sort of medium-sized stages at this point. But it's important, I think, when we do gigs that we have a stage. It's not like a punk mosh pit thing when everybody is just tugging at your instruments and everybody is throwing beers around. It's more, I mean,
space.
It's much more about
doing
trying to translate the story across to the audience. It's what we are aiming at. I mean, it'd be fun to do more chaotic shows as well, of course, but also the music you can see in the audience, the reaction is not so mosh pit style. It's more like everybody is into it very slowly, and some people, which is very interesting, they sort of know all the lyrics already and everything, so that's good. They've actually listened to the story and not just the riffs.
That was a big surprise, because you write the lyrics and you're like, is anybody ever going to care about this, or they just want the heavy riffs and the
big jump riffs?
Yeah.
If you want to know which venues are good, you should ask our good friends in Domkraft.
They're great.
All of them.
we played together with them, and but they played for a longer time, and they played in everywhere. Yeah.
From larger stages to
to the smallest, shittiest places. So, and it's a good band, and they're really nice people.
Mm-hmm.
You get an interview.
I should ask them on the podcast, Brendan.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah. They're definitely great. I love their sound too. And my son's 8 years old now, and when he was like 2 or 3, he was like, "Will you play Domecraft?" And I'm like, "All right, do that, sure,
Good.
not a problem." Like, yeah, he liked their sound or whatever. You know, it was great. I was like, "Play it again, sure, I'll do it."
Brilliant.
Definitely
Better than the Wiggles.
Yeah. Is there any sweet restaurants in your area, or any breweries to hit up if James and I were to come by?
Yeah, for sure. It's I think the microbrewing scene in Sweden is thriving. So there's a lot of small breweries around here. And I mean, in Malmö, there's a very nice pub called Taproom, and they just brew their own beer there. They don't have 800 beers there, but but at least they have this whole wall with taps of the beers that they make, and they do new beers there every. So I can recommend that place. They have a nice brisket there as well if you want.
Oh, nice. Gotta love that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you think that IKEA food court greatly represents your
national cuisine?
Swedish meatballs?
I don't know. What do they serve in the States? I mean,
could be different. Yeah,
it could be different. Yeah. I mean,
we get the meat.
It's not the same here in Sweden as it is in Germany or in Holland, or so it's different, right? Maybe
that's true.
Americanized Swedish food. I don't know.
We get. I'm pulling up the menu. We get like the meat. Obviously, the meatballs,
the gravy,
potato, lingonberry jam, salmon.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same. But do you know? The one interesting fact is that they lose money on the food they serve because they have decided to lose money in the restaurant just to give the picture of that. Fuck, man, it's really cheap. Everything is so cheap here. So they have intentionally lowered the prices below what the cost. That's
the hot dogs especially. Like, do you have the hot dog section? It's like $1.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Hot dog added drink for like $1.50 or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Costco is exactly the same. Like Costco, you can get a hot dog and a drink for like $1.50, or like a slice of pizza like the size of your face for like $2 or something.
Cheap.
It's like
and a churro.
Like I remember when I was a kid, I loved when we went to IKEA because I knew that I was going to get a hot dog.
Yeah.
And now it's like, why? Like, it's not like IKEA hot dog is anything special, but there's something in it that just like feels so special.
It's cheap.
Yeah, but when you're 7 years old, then it's like I still wanted to go to IKEA so I could get a hot dog.
Right. Because you didn't want to go shopping with your parents, but if you had to, it was worth it because you got a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's a magic recipe.
I had a colleague that got very, very sick of their chicken.
Stay away from that.
Yeah. Raw chicken.
But otherwise, I think like when it comes to Swedish food, there's no real middle gap. Either it's like these pubs that are like the lower end pubs that serve some kind of traditional Swedish food, and then there's nothing in between, and then you just have these super fancy restaurants that have some kind of like fusion style Scandinavian, but it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg to eat there.
But it's gonna be good.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's really good, but there's not really much in between that That's the.
Well, if you go next time you go to IKEA, you should just buy the pickled herring and let us know if you like it or not.
All right.
That's really Swedish.
That's really
Okay. All right.
Something that I think has turned up on a few American shows. There is something called surströmming, which is like fermented herring.
Small pieces.
Yeah, you can check that out.
Okay.
That small.
Yeah. Little nibbles.
Like you said, like Swedish traditional pub food. What is like Swedish traditional pub food? What would you get?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Like for me, I think that we have something called a plank steak.
Yeah. No flank steaks. Yeah. Love flank steak.
You get a wooden board with a piece of what is it really? That is beef sirloin. I think it's like a sirloin piece of sirloin, béarnaise sauce, and mashed potatoes that has been baked in the oven a little bit to get a crispy surface. Asparagus that has bacon wrapped around the asparagus.
Oh, nice.
Tomato also baked in the oven. It's the best.
I want that.
It's amazing, actually. Yeah.
Huh. Brendan, is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Well, is there any any cities out there that you want to go and actually go see and play at? Like any goals?
Anywhere at this point, really. I mean, in the previous band I was in, maybe over 20 years ago, we did a lot of tours in, especially Germany, but also Holland and Austria. And there was a lot of very nice venues in the countryside, which was really good. I mean, you come to this place, there's a dog and an old lady there. But then a few hours later, there's 400 or 500 people at the show. And that's just great. I would love to do that again.
Yeah.
Maybe not such a long time, a long weekend or something.
So that's our previous goal, to get some gigs.
Yeah.
Tour California.
Oh, come see me.
Yeah.
I'm in San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think it would be quite cool if there would be, like, you could do some kind of mashup if there would be, let's say, a horror book or horror movie convention or whatever that needed some thematic music or performance connected to it. I think that could be.
There is in the US. It's called the Oddities Flea Market. A guy we know, he played the music for one of the ones I attended. So they have like vendors that sell everything you can think of, from like human skeletons to like personally made satanic blades, anything obscure or weird that you could think of. And then it's in this big, old, massive theater in downtown Los Angeles that looks really gothic. And then they have a big set-up stage where they actually have like live music playing the whole time, doing like dark ambient or like horror soundtrack type stuff. So
that sounds amazing. That would be it.
That would be a really
Perfect match.
Yeah. Like a glove.
So we'll have that as a future goal then.
Yes.
there you go. Yeah, I think it's originally from New York, and they have an even bigger version in New York, but it's also in LA.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Brendan, anything else you want to go over?
No, we could wrap it up.
Yeah, I just said.
James,
go ahead.
how come you speak Dutch?
My family's South African. I'm originally from South Africa, so it's Afrikaans, but it's like close enough. It's closer to Flemish, but pretty close to Dutch. Just a little bit, not too much.
Okay, let's just one try.
I understand it pretty well, but I don't speak it.
Like old-fashioned Dutch, with like how it sounded 100 years ago or something.
Right, and there's like no grammar. There's like way less grammar.
Nice. All right.
So I did have one. The last question I ask everyone that comes on the show. So this one might take a minute and take your time to answer because it's not an easy one.
It's personal.
But if you were stranded on a desert island, and you each had 3 CDs that you had to listen to on repeat over and over again until you got rescued, what would you want them to be?
I know the answer right away for the first one, and that's all the complete Robert Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just amazing because I've had that one for years and years and years, and every time I listen to it, it's like I never heard that before, and still it's just one vocal and his guitar, and I always hear new things every time I hear it. It's magic. That's one at least.
Right.
That one. Great.
Did you say free records?
Yeah.
3 records per person, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I got one.
Do boxes count?
Sure.
I would definitely take Tool and Ema.
Tool and Ema, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would take. There's a Swedish composer called Bo Hansson, and he made way back in the day some kind of like a Lord of the Rings album. It's a real dog style album, and because I listened to that while reading Lord of the Rings the first time, so I know that if I would listen to that, I could just go into that world so easy. Being an eternity in the deserted island, yeah.
I think I'll have to be a bit doomy here then and say I have to take the first Candlemass album, the Epicus album, and then just to be a little bit annoying, I'll take the first Yngwie Malmsteen album as well. It's a great boost for me, and it's actually a great album. It's largely instrumental as well, which is great, So that's good. And something classical. You have to have something classical. You can't just listen to metal.
I think I would take Robin's Body Talk album.
The 2 Swedish artists.
Yeah.
I would take Sepultura Roots as well.
Nice.
It's really good. Then I would probably take just to Stooges Funhouse.
I would take Fugazi or Fugazi. I don't know how you pronounce it really. Repeater album.
It's impossible. This is fucking impossible. Now I just want to, and that one.
So far.
Let's just hope we're stranding on the same island.
We can
Who would really borrow from each other?
I would borrow your Robin now.
Yeah, I know. I would probably take 10 by Pearl Jam as well.
Okay, good album.
Batteries? CD player? Batteries?
We'll say it's solar powered.
Luna Mortimer.
Okay.
Is that 3 for everyone?
Right. Think you
Yeah, there you go. We have some people that come on this show and we'll ask them that question, and within 2 seconds they'll just have 3. I'm like, how did you do that? But other people need like a while. That this is really tough. So I think it kind of changes like whenever you're asked what mood you're in as well, which makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So last question is, for anyone who wants to support your band, buy your music, listen to your stuff, what is the best place to do that?
The best. I mean, I would suggest to get it on vinyl. That's the best solution. Dim the lights, or just put out the lights completely, as long as you can turn the record over, and just listen to the Haunting of Silvå from start to finish.
Yeah,
loud.
Do you mean both records?
Both records.
But then you have to after the first album, you have to go online because you have to because the entry act, is It's only digital. The one in between the two albums.
That's the coffee.
Oh, okay.
Coffee break. Yeah.
The 14 minutes little single.
So now get it on vinyl is the best suggestion. Where to do it? I mean, get it from Svart Records or from us. It's the
Or
same.
wherever you want it.
Wherever
Because
you want
it's
it, yeah.
both
It's
in the
everywhere.
States and in Europe and everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Google it.
Yeah.
And then if people want to keep up with the band for like touring and stuff, social-wise, what social media should they be following?
I think Instagram is the
Biggest one.
It's the biggest one.
Yeah.
And Facebook, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
But it's not
I think
really active.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really great chatting with you guys. Love the album. I'm sure everyone's going to love it who hasn't heard it yet. And good luck booking some tours in the future.
Thank you.
And thanks for
It's
interest.
really nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, very nice.
Hey, you guys too. And for anyone listening at home, just tune in next time. We'll have another guest for you.
Okay.